Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and greetings, AliShanMao here and welcome to my little main cave. This is the video because we have been waiting for this new long-range FPV aircraft from Eachine, the Airloader, which is sitting right here. There's a lot to talk about Eachine Airloader and I do not want to make this video extra lengthy. I want to keep this video to the point, so I plan to do another video where we will talk all about Eachine Airloader, and I might be able to reveal some very surprising facts and information about Eachine Airloader or around Eachine Airloader. So do keep an eye for the Eachine Airloader rant video coming very soon on my channel. Before we begin, a very happy holidays to all Chinese people for the Chinese National Day and Mid-Autumn's Day festival. Two festivals together. I hope everyone is enjoying the holidays with family members. Me too. I'm enjoying my holidays as well. I have plenty of time to build, fly, and test the Eachine Airloader. So now let me put down a list right here. Number one, of course, the Eachine Airloader components that I have received. Number two, I'll give you a very close look at each and every component of Eachine Airloader, and I will talk about and explain the ideas, the consideration, and the concept behind all these coolest features that this plane is actually bringing you. Without a proper understanding of this plane and its features and the lot of consideration, effort, and time that has gone into design and concept of this plane, you're not gonna fully understand the Eachine Airloader and you're not gonna actually enjoy or use the full capabilities of this plane. So let's get to work and let me give you a complete, detailed introduction of this awesome Eachine Airloader long-range FPV RC airplane. This is what I got out of another box. I might make another video of a proper unboxing of a kit if you want, so let me know in video comments if you want to see a proper unboxing of only the Eachine Airloader kit. Alright, so this is the other box which came with the kit and two motor mounts with twin motors, which I am not going to use at the moment. So I'll just keep it this way, like a proper kit, but something with the servos installed. The reason I'm not showing you two motors, the twin motor, is because I would like to set up the very first Eachine Airloader as a pusher with a single motor pusher plane, and then take it from there to twin motor and three motor for testing, flight testing. So let's start with the components. I have here the vertical stabilizer, the rudder. And notice that the area of the rudder surface that actually moves is pretty small right here. Right? Also have servo installed here, connecting rod, and the horn for connecting rod is already installed on the rudder. And down here you have double-sided tape so you can install the rudder or vertical stabilizer without using glue. Then we have the elevator, the horizontal stabilizer, nice and big. There's a wooden plate right here where also two screws will go from the tailbone into this and secure this without having to use any glue, foam glue or any type of glue. Cable and the connector is coming out from the bottom. Why? I will explain very soon. Once I show you the tailbone, you will know why it's coming out here. The servo is installed right here. Connecting rod and horns are already installed on that. Now, just give me a moment. I can always center the servos later. One thing that actually worry people and also worry me is because the size of the elevator right here, the whole surface, and you can see as it has to move up and down, the worry is how long this thin layer of foam right here in the middle is gonna last. I already see 1, 2, 3 holes. So the question is why Eachine did not consider putting the hinges here rather than having this thin layer of foam. Now, I have flown, of course, FPV aircraft for over a decade, and I know I have never ever had incident of these breaking during flight. I have broken these things. These things went apart only on crashes, but still, worry is a worry, and question is why they didn't use the hinges here. Well, I believe I can answer the question right away. Is because hinges will simply bring extra cost for the material, for the production and assembly of elevator as well, and that might be a reason the Eachine did not want to go with that. Now, the elevator is not finished yet. I mean, one moment. You have watched that there are two extra fins on the elevator. I mean, on the horizontal stabilizer, and the rudder is right here. This cable has to go through here and down, but for now, I just want to show you this is how it will look like after assembly. Now, the question was, why the two extra fins here? Now, there are a lot of inexperienced people out there who have no experience in RC FPV aircraft. They don't have experience in designing the RC FPV aircraft, and they don't have experience in the basic concepts of aerodynamics of RC or real aircraft as well. So those, and of course there are other people who do not actually know why these two fins, extra fins, and are they really necessary? Should you use them, or should you fly your airloader without them? Well, I will suggest highly actually emphasize on this that you use these extra fins, because designer has done his homework and these are for a reason here. Now, I'm gonna answer this question in this video. For now, you can make a guess why these two extra fins. I'm gonna answer this question in this video, so stay with me right here in this video. Now we will come to the wing. Again, there's a lot to talk about the wing, so let's begin with the wing. This is the right wing, and here's the left wing. Okay. From the top, you can easily see that you do have the option of flaps, not just aileron, but flaps also. Nice and very aerodynamic, sleek build on this wing right here. Very nice profile on this one. And there is an area already marked with a line and 3 triangles. This is the place where you will add the motor mount for your twin motor configuration. Should you want to go twin motor configuration, you will mount your forward motor right here on this wing and one on this wing right here, converting this plane into twin motor configuration. So it's gonna be very easy. So this is the top of the wing and this is the bottom of the wing. The CG point again has been done really nicely, visible, and also you can feel it once you put your finger here. There's a raised circle and CG right here. So it's very easy for you to balance the CG of the plane. Also, you can see that on both wings you have an additional space for a servo, and already the horns installed right here for the connecting rod. Now, if you want to use flaps for this airplane, all you need to do is cut the foam from here and make the flaps functional. Aileron servo already installed, connecting rod and the horns already installed. Now, once again, right here, if you focus, again, the worries, this layer is very thin right where the surface actually moves. You can see there's already holes here. Again, the question is how long this is gonna hold. I would again say that I have never had any of these breaking on me in my whole FPV or RC life. Only when crashed I broke them. Again, the question of hinges, if you have, of course I have already answered that. Now, you are noticing this cut, a space, open space, a slat kind of thing right here on the right behind the aileron, and if you look at the wing from the top, you are watching it as well. This is on both of the wings, okay? See? This is on both of the wings. Now, why Eachine Airloader has this and why the designer went for this. And this is again was a question from those who do not have any experience in FPV aircraft or RC airplane flying, or are beginners or just curious. They don't have enough knowledge about airplanes and aerodynamics and every concept behind the flying of airplanes. They are wondering why this slat on the aileron. Now, this is where I would say again that designer of Eachine Airloader has put a lot of thought, a lot of consideration in designing this airplane and taking it to the next level. So, why this slat? I'm going to answer this question in this video. So stay with me in this video and you're gonna find out the answer for this. You will know why I actually appreciate the concept, the design, and the feature of this FPV aircraft. Now let me introduce another key feature of Eachine Airloader, a wing assembly that makes your life really easy and takes your setup to neat, clean and professional levels. Notice there is a connector on the wing right here, just like we seen these connectors on a DJI Phantom 3, Phantom 4 batteries. And if you look at the back side here, aileron servo, the lead going all the way, and 3 cables, red, black and white, are already soldered on this. Now, why do I love about this feature of having a specialized connector is because it makes your life easier. Let me explain. Stay here with me. Imagine if you don't have this connector, how do you connect your aileron, and say if you also have a flap servo, how do you connect them to your flight controller or receiver? And if you have a twin motor configuration, you have a motor here and an ESC here. How do you connect ESC signal, positive negative cable, to the flight controller and or receiver, and how do you connect the power of the ESC to the battery? Obviously, if you don't have this connector, you will have one aileron servo cable, one flap servo cable, and if I pick an ESC, you will have one ESC signal cable, and you will have one ESC power cable. I mean the positive and negative power cables. So how many we're talking about here? 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 cables on each wing. 8 cables to run through your fuselage every time you are in the field. Put the wing closer. Imagine if you have the spar here, you put the wing closer, then you run 4 cables in from here, 4 cables in from there, and you open the hatch, you connect everything, and then you set up your plane to fly. Now that is a whole lot of work that, as a dedicated FPV pilot, as I am, I really do not want to get into running 8 cables in and out every time, and that is why I really appreciate this new feature of having the specialized connector on this. Now let me explain it more, so stay with me. Say if you're using a pusher motor setup where the motor is installed here, ESC is installed inside, and you just want to use one aileron as its PNP configuration will come for, as the PNP configuration might come with, all you need to do is simply plug the connector, install the wing, and secure it with one screw from inside. That's it. No more cables to run in and out of your fuselage. Now what if you want to use flaps and you install a servo, make the flaps functional, you want to go with twin motor setup and you install another ESC. So now I'm talking about those 4 cables. In that case, flap servo, just like these 3 cables, you will run the cables, and the next 3 connectors you are going to connect the red, black and white, and your ESC red, black and signal to next 3 pins. Very simple. All you need to do is solder them. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pins. So 3 for the aileron, 3 for the flap servo, and 3 for the ESC. You still have 2 more pins, spare pins left. So once you have connected, soldered all the connections here, comes the next step where you have to connect the ESC. I would say this is a little bit of extra work, but an FPV pilot who's really serious about making a neat, clean and professional setup and easy to detach wings anytime on the field, and as a dedicated FPV pilot, I would for sure go for this extra step and extra work, because later it will make my life very easy and my setup very clean and professional. Once you have done this on the wing, all you need to do is solder the corresponding cables and connectors on this side, on the fuselage connector, that is specialized connector here, and your setup is really neat and clean and more professional looking. Now, if someone really thinks that this is a lot of work and they decided to break it off and go with old school running the cable in and out every time, I think that is just the dumbest thing anyone would ever do as an FPV pilot. I mean, you have been given a very neat and new feature which is going to make your life easier, and you just want to break it off and go old school? I really don't know what kind of person would actually consider not using this new and neat feature provided to them. So, I love this feature, and I'm sure you're gonna simply love this feature as well. So we have talked about the connectors, the specialized connectors. This doesn't end here, stay with me. We'll talk about the fuselage side connections on the specialized connector once we pick the fuselage up, and I will show you how to deal with the specialized connector at that end, because people might think that there might be a problem there, and that means you shouldn't use these connectors. I'm gonna explain this once we move to the fuselage. We are still on the wing here. Now, the thing is that if you want to go with the twin motor setup, you have been provided with these two motor mounts that you can glue right here and install the motor on this. Okay, do remember this is an EPP foam, so make sure you use only EPP foam glue that is rated for or designed for EPP foam, because if you use the wrong glue, you will melt your foam, make it softer, ruin the wing, and not able to install this. Now let me show you the mount which already have a motor. I have two of these, so once you install the motor is just like that. Okay, so on the wing you will install the motor, and now the motor connectors are right here. Obviously, if you're considering to set up your plane really neat and clean, you're gonna tuck these connectors very neatly. Now, I have found this little ESC, which is a 38 opto ESC, and it fits really nice and easy here. And I'm gonna use this to show you how much, once again, how much consideration has gone into this design of Eachine Airloader, and how it makes, and how you will properly understand and set up this plane with a neat, clean and professional setup that it is designed for. So once you have your motor, your ESC, obviously you will have these cables here. After connecting, either you will cut, if the cables are long, of course you can cut them and always install the connectors according to the length of these cables, and you can easily find a way to tuck these cables neatly in this area. Now, if you decided to use the flap servo, obviously you will solder the cables next on the next 3 pins, and use the ESC 3 cables, positive, negative, a signal on the next 3 pins. So you will be using 9 pins right here. Once this is soldered here, comes the other part where you have to power the ESC, because this connector here is not rated to handle all the volts, amps and current for the ESC and the motor right here. Look at this. Do you see the shape of this wood here? Notice that shape, and notice that you have been provided with 2 pair of XT60 connectors. There's a reason they provided you this. Pick up one, so you will pick up one of the XT60 connector. This is the male connector, okay, with the male pins inside, and you're just gonna put it right here. After soldering red and black cable of ESC here, you're just gonna put this XT60 connector here, and you might need to file this area a little bit and push the XT60 connector forward to flush it all the way to the edges of this wood, okay, with the surface of the wood. And once it's done at the fuselage side, it becomes easy, because all you need to do is use the XT60 female plug, and as you can see, this area is exactly designed to carry or to hold and install this XT60 plug. So solder proper gauge cables on this connector, make sure the polarity is right, and then run the cables in and push this connector right here. Glue it so that it will stay here, and every time when you detach the wing it will not come off. So you can glue it right here after soldering the proper gauge cable. And now that you will have your ESC cables coming in, you can always solder them together for twin motors and or solder different connectors. I mean, that goes according to your own choice. Should you want to keep it different? Should you want to run them on the same channel? Should you want to run them on different channel to create differential thrust? That all depends on you. For me, an easy way is to, once you have red and black coming from both sides, you can always solder red and black onto same channel and solder to same XT60 connector, which will connect to the battery eventually, and one battery will power both of them. If you want to keep two different connectors, that's your choice. If you want to make a different setup, that's all your choice. So once everything is done, you can see how easy it becomes and how each and every connector is connecting properly. See, the XT60 is connecting there, specialized connector with your aileron, flap, and ESC side signal cables, positive, negative, everything is connecting properly, and all you need to do is push it in, and you have just made your life easier and connected everything properly without having to deal with any cables inside again and again every time you set the plane up. So attaching, detaching wing becomes really easy, and you know, that is the reason I love this design. That is the reason I love these specialized connectors and all the things already considered in this design to make an FPV pilot's life easier when you get yourself an Eachine Airloader. So this step is done. Next step, we are going to move to the fuselage, and I'm going to also cover one of the key problems that people thought is the real problem here and fails the purpose of having these specialized connectors right here. So I'm going to discuss that next, and of course I'm going to show you that that is not a problem. It has already been considered and resolved. The matter is if you see it or not. So let me show you to you, let me explain. Now, here's the fuselage. When you first pick it in your hands, you'll feel like, what is this boxy design right here? To me, it looks an awesome design right here. Like, I mean, look at the lining, you know, the design right here, like a spaceship. I simply love it. I'm a science fiction guy and I simply love it. This is the fuselage of Eachine Airloader, and you can again notice from the nose right here the signature design of this designer who has built some of the most successful long-range FPV aircraft, and that is why I trust his skills, his experience in design of the FPV aircraft, and I'm really happy that Eachine has joined hands with this designer. Nice and big, very futuristic looks here. I mean, I feel like this is really very futuristic looks here, and to me it's a unique design. It's beautiful, because when you bring this complete plane on the field, it is gonna catch attention, it is gonna catch eyes. On the nose there's a grill. Also get more grills in a bag. Should you not want to use any cameras, you can use a complete covered grill right here. Otherwise you have this grill which allows you to add an FPV camera and a session kind of GoPro session kind of cameras or other HD FPV cameras right here. I like this raised spot right here, like something on the bonnet of a muscle car. Now right here you can notice the vents, air vents at left and right side. So left and right vents will bring a nice airflow from the side of the plane onto the electronics, and there's a vent on the back right here as well for the flow, for the airflow to go out. Okay, we have the motor mount for the pusher configuration right here. Very nice laser cut wood right here, thick piece, not gonna break very easily. You have pieces of wood right here to install your tail boom. On the bottom of the fuselage you have these hard 3 pieces that will protect the fuselage from breaking or scratching upon landing the plane, even on harder surfaces, wing spar hole, and the connectors, the specialized connectors on both sides of the fuselage right here. Before I actually open and show you how much space it has inside, you will also notice that you can install your airspeed sensor on top. I like it here. I actually love it here. It looks like a kind of very high-tech antenna on a spaceship here. And you can install it at the right of the fuselage, or you can install it at the left of the fuselage. Now check this out. Obviously you will use only one airspeed sensor, but if you install 2 of these modules, I mean, this looks badass. I mean, really, check this out. It looks amazing. It is a very unique, futuristic look right here. I might actually use both of them just for, you know, this badass look. Alright, now comes the real thing. I mean, 2 of the points that I really love, the features of the fuselage of Eachine Airloader, and you're gonna love that too. So one hatch is magnetic, okay, right here, and it's really very hard. I mean, very strong magnets. Once you open it, you have definitely provided this camera mount for those longer cameras like Firefly Q6. Look at that. Look at the space inside. This space, you can only imagine how many batteries you can fit, and not just here, because if you only have this space here and you fit the batteries, you might have a very nose-heavy plane issue. This space goes all the way in here. Look, my hand is inside. How much it is inside? It's like if I stretch my hand, open it completely, you can see there's that much more space inside. So I have this 4S3P big battery, Li-ion 18650 batteries, and if I put it right here, you can see how nicely it fits, and I can still slide it all the way back. Look, you can't even watch the battery now. You cannot even see the battery now. All the way back, and I can add more battery here to balance the plane, or if I have heavier cameras, I can easily slide the battery. There's a lot of place to slide the battery in and out to balance your center of gravity. So this is one point so this is one feature that you're really gonna love on Eachine Airloader right here. Plenty of space for your batteries. Now, this is not it. There's another hatch right here, which I again love it, because look at this. Plenty of space for your flight controller. And you can put your speed controller right here for a pusher motor. You can put your speed controller right here, and given these cuts on the wood right backside here, you can easily install a Velcro to secure your speed controller, because if you're gonna use a speed controller like I have chosen one, 50 amp, really heavy, you don't want it to move forward and backward and disturb your CG, so you can easily secure your speed controller here. And the thing that I love about this big space for flight controller is that it's not very deep. Flight controller is right here, very easy access to connect, disconnect any cable to the flight controller, installation of flight controller, and tweaking of the flight controller. It's very easy. Unlike many other FPV aircraft I have seen where there's cramped spot, deep spot for installing the flight controller, sometimes even my smaller hands are feeling trouble to go inside and, you know, connect and disconnect wires from the flight controller. This is really a very considerable design right here, because this provides very easy installation, connecting and disconnecting of wires and tweaking of flight controllers right here. Okay, so now comes the other part where most of the people will assume or consider this as a problem when it comes to the specialized connectors and running all these cables, that extra cables that you have decided for flap servo, ESC and ESC power, etc, etc. You can see there's no way that the specialized connector is visible from here. And in a hurry, some people might think, let's break this thing off, this piece of wood, let's break it off, and there will be a connector behind this, and we will be able to solder everything. However, please keep in mind that this is very hard glued here from the factory. This is very hard glued here. If you try to take it off, you will break the wood, you'll break the foam, bend the foam. Also, you see that the spar tube right here, this wood is going around it, okay? I mean, the spar tube going in this wood. So breaking this wood off is a bad and a dumb idea. Don't do that, because once you break it, you will find there is no connector inside. So what to do if you have done this part already? You have taken extra effort to connect the flap servo, to connect the ESC cables, and install the XT60 connector for your another ESC and twin motor configuration. How do you go ahead? How do you go and make all these connections on the specialized connector at the plane side? Well, you're looking at the wrong side. If you're thinking it's in here, you are looking at the wrong place. It's very simple. At this side where you want to connect, this connector is glued, very little glue here, and will easily come off. This is specially done at the factory so that you can easily pull it out. As you can see, I am able to pull it out very easily. And now you have one connection already soldered, that is for the aileron setup. As I mentioned, should you just want to go with the aileron PNP configuration, life is very, very easy. But as you can see, now you easily pulled it out. You can solder another extension here on the next 3 pins for your flap servos. You can solder another extension on the next 3 pins for your ESC connections, ESC signals connections, and that's it. And after that, run those cables in and add some glue and put this connector back in and secure it. Do add the glue, otherwise every time when you pull the wing off out, this connector might pulled off as well. So do add some glue right here. And as you have seen, we have already installed and talked about this XT60 connector for the ESC. So now you see that the Eachine Airloader design has gone through a lot of consideration. This design and all these consideration in this design are the result of a very hard, long homework done right. 2 spars for your wings to keep your wings strong during flight, and a nice thick tail boom. Check this out. Oh man, it has this is really strong piece of metal right here. All the holes are already drilled, all the places already drilled for you to run the cables in. Yes, as I said, now we are coming back to it, why the long cables and why they are coming from the bottom of the elevator or horizontal and vertical stabilizer. It's because you're gonna run these cables and an extension all the way through this tail boom, and when the tail boom is inserted, you will have those cables coming out from bottom right here, and you can bring them here to your flight controller or receiver easily. It's not over yet, people. The video is not over. Now it's time for me to tell you the answers to those 2 questions which have been confusing a lot of inexperienced and beginners and other pilots or people who do not have much experience and who are curious about why Eachine Airloader is actually using 2 extra fins. So that is the question, the first question. Apart from rudder, why there are 2 extra fins here? Well, answer is simple. According to the aerodynamics concepts, according to the design concepts of the flight and airplanes, you will see these extra fins on real-life aircraft as well. Check these pictures out. You will see that these real aircraft also have these extra fins. Now what these extra fins do, they direct more airflow onto the rudder. Once again, the extra fins are here to direct more airflow onto the rudder, and that's going to give you more rudder authority, extra rudder response. Even if you look at the Eachine Airloader, such a big fuselage, big wings with the wingspan, and such a small rudder right here, obviously these two fins were needed to direct extra airflow onto the rudder to give you better rudder control, better rudder authority during flight. Okay, so that was question one. Now comes the second question. Why there are these slats here in the ailerons? So once again, according to the flight basics and flight concepts, according to the design concepts, these slats are here for a reason. And you will find them once again on real-world aircraft as well. And it exists on real-world aircraft, but the question is, will it work on Eachine Airloader, the FPV RC aircraft? Well, for that I will definitely, for all of you to watch, put it to a stall test. I will stall the plane on purpose during the flight, and I will see if this feature will help me get the plane out of stall easily, or I will crash the plane. We will find it out very soon when we fly it and test this feature. Okay? Alright, now, the last part of this lengthy video, I know I'm also getting tired and I have to even edit this video, is what motor and ESC I'm going to use for this plane. So I have two choices of motors, a few choices of propellers as well. So I have here 7x4 3-blade propellers. Okay, now I'm going to use this 3-blade propeller with where are you? With a Sunny Sky 1400 kV motor. So right now I have an 8-inch propeller on it, which I will remove because yes, on this fuselage, now there's a problem here. You can only use maximum 7-inch propeller. So you're limited to 7-inch propeller on a motor, rear motor, limited to 7-inch propeller only, which leaves us very limited choices of motors and setup on this plane. I wish designer has considered it to have more space so we can make a pusher setup with a low kV motor and a bigger propeller for more efficient cruising. But anyway, we will see with a 1400 kV motor, that is Sunny Sky, RC Sunny Sky, and a 3-blade 7-inch propeller, what amp draw and what thrust, what speed I will get. I'll share all the data with you all when it comes to flight testing with the flight control. My second choice is to use a 1250 kV motor, again from RC Sunny Sky, and the same 3-blade propeller, 7x4, for a pusher setup. I'm thinking that for my twin motor configuration, I will go with 1200 kV Sunny Sky motor and about 8-inch, maximum 9-inch. 8-inch propeller in the beginning and maximum 9-inch depending on how plane is behaving. So that will be my setup. For the ESC, I have chosen the China's best ESC manufacturers. ZTW, trust me on this, the best ESCs are made by ZTW in China, and they actually OEM for many companies. So I have a ZTW 50 amp ESC, which is quite heavy, but hey, that's gonna be fun because I'm gonna use 4S3P, and thank you very much Banggood, CNHL. Yeah, that's a nice battery brand as well. I remember that. Nice battery brand, CNHL 5000 milliamp 4S battery to test this plane and its performance. Alright, that's a long video, and thank you very much for staying with me in this long video. And I hope I have explained everything about Eachine Airloader. I hope I have explained everything about the idea, the concept of the design, and the coolest feature, this beautiful futuristic looking FPV aircraft Eachine Airloader in this video. Now, if I have missed anything, if you have any question, please feel free to put your questions, feedback, ideas in the video comments, and I will surely answer those and get back to you. Now, what do I think about this plane? How good this plane is? Is it really very highly recommended long-range FPV aircraft? Would you really want to go for Eachine Airloader? Well, I will say, hold your horses. Let me build it, test it, pusher, twin, and 3-motor configuration. Let me put in the flight controller and test the FPV flights. Let me test the flight endurance. Let me test the flight characteristics. Let me test the stall speed and stall recovery capabilities. I mean, let me thoroughly test the flight characteristics and put those features to flight testing, and only after that I will conclude about how good the Eachine Airloader is and if you really would like to go for it. Come on, you know what to do. Hit that like button. It's right there. I know you can do it. Oh, while you're at it, also hit the subscribe button. Right there. Come on, don't be shy. Just hit it. Thank you very much for all your support towards my work, that I post regular and fresh content on my channel just for you. Hit that like button. Right?